Have you ever sat across the dinner table, in the middle of a conversation, and felt alone? Not because the chair across from you was empty, but because the person sitting there no longer feels like someone who sees you. That quiet ache, that sense of going unheard, unseen, it's more common than most will admit. Especially after 65. We're raised on the idea that growing old means growing old with someone. That companionship is the prize for a life well lived. But what if that's not always true? What if being partnered in your later years isn't a comfort, but a trap? More and more seniors are waking up to a liberating truth. Staying single after 65 isn't loneliness, it's clarity. It's freedom. And in many cases, it's the healthiest, happiest choice they've ever made. Today, let's begin peeling back the curtain on that truth. We're going to talk about the quiet traps that can exist in long-term relationships, and why walking solo might just be the most loving thing you can do for yourself. 1. The emotional caretaking trap. At this age, your energy is sacred. You've spent decades giving, to children, to spouses, to coworkers and friends. But in many long-term relationships, especially ones that have lost their balance, one partner slowly becomes the emotional caretaker. You know the signs: always managing moods, walking on eggshells, diffusing tension before it even begins, being the calm one, the reasonable one, the one who keeps the peace. And often that person is you. If you've been married for decades, or even just a few years, ask yourself this: who's taking care of you? As one woman, Nancy, shared after ending a 40-year marriage, divorce felt like liberation. I'm finally myself again. I value peace and freedom more than anything. That's not selfish. That's survival. That's healing. You don't need to carry someone else's emotional baggage in your golden years. You've already done more than enough. 2. The routine overgrowth trap. There's nothing wrong with routine, until it starts to feel like stagnation. So many couples fall into the same grooves, the same dinner, the same conversations, the same silences. Not comfortable silences, but the kind that whisper, "We stopped growing a long time ago." In contrast, single life at 65 plus can awaken a kind of childlike curiosity again. You rediscover spontaneity. You try new things, not because you're proving something, but because you want to feel alive. Take Paula, who put it simply, "It took me 51 years to realize that being free from both family and friends has made me truly content. I've had 6 peaceful years to myself, and I cherish every moment." There's power in that stillness. In waking up and choosing your day, your pace, your priorities. When you're not adapting to someone else's rhythm, you finally start hearing your own. 3. The health and balance trap. This one is tough, but real. Many seniors end up becoming full-time caregivers for a spouse whose health is declining. While that's often done out of love, it can also lead to quiet resentment, deep fatigue, and even loss of self. Your joints ache too. Your sleep isn't perfect. You've got your own appointments and prescriptions. And yet you find yourself pouring all your energy into someone else's survival, while yours begins to fade. William spoke honestly about this after losing his wife of 25 years. "She was too ill to travel, and now I'm finally doing all the things I dreamed of. I miss her deeply, but from now on, no one gets to derail my plans." That's not disrespect, it's recovery. It's rebuilding a self that's been in the background for far too long. Being single means being able to prioritize your own health, to choose rest, to choose activity, to build your final decades around your well-being, not someone else's decline. These are just the first 3 traps, the ones that many seniors fall into without realizing it. And while staying partnered may still be the right path for some, it's no longer the default. And it definitely shouldn't be the obligation. Because your peace matters. Your autonomy matters. And your joy? It's not something to be sacrificed in silence. Shall we continue? Let's talk about the ones that shrink us quietly, until one day, we no longer recognize the sound of our own voice. 4. The self-silencing trap. Have you ever bitten your tongue, not because you were wrong, but because you were just tired? Tired of the same debate. Tired of being dismissed. Tired of the cold shoulder that comes after speaking your mind. This happens more than people admit. Especially to women. Especially in long-term partnerships where one voice dominates the space. Over time, you start editing yourself. Choosing silence over truth. Peace over honesty. But the problem is, it's not peace if it costs you your self-expression. Rachel captured this perfectly. My mom always said, you have to learn to enjoy your own company. I finally understand what she meant. These days, even family doesn't reach out, and I'm okay with that. Being single after 65 gives you back your voice. You can say what you want, when you want. You can be loud, quiet, quirky, soft, wise, messy. You get to be you again. No filters. No apologies. 5. The emotional dependency trap. Many relationships in later life aren't built on shared joy, they're built on fear. The fear of being alone. The fear of navigating aging solo. The fear of dying unseen. But here's the secret no one tells you: once you face that fear, it disappears. And what's left? Power. Calm. Self-trust. No, divorced at 51, found exactly that. I haven't found anyone truly compatible, and honestly, I'm loving the solitude. It feels like peace for the first time in my life. Solitude isn't emptiness. It's space. Space to grow. Space to heal. Space to hear your own thoughts again. You begin to remember how capable you really are, how resourceful, how resilient. You stop leaning on someone else to make you feel whole, and start standing fully in your own presence. 6. The lost dream trap. This one hits hard. When a relationship loses its spark, the future starts to feel dull, not tragic. Just flat, same days. Same arguments. Same absence of dreams. You stop planning, you stop hoping, you start settling. But the moment you choose yourself, when you finally release the relationship that's been draining your joy, you start dreaming again. Edie, 52, single and thriving, said it best. My solitude, my art, and my kids are everything. I don't see myself jumping into a relationship anytime soon. This is my time. Did you catch that? This is my time. Not our time. Not their time, your time. After 65, you can build a second, or third, act. You can travel. Move. Start a small business. Learn Italian. Volunteer. Write the memoir. You can reinvent your life in bold, beautiful ways that a draining relationship might never have allowed. Being single gives you back your compass, and lets you chart a course based on who you are now, not who you used to be. Let's pause here for a moment. What you've just read? It's not theory. It's not fiction. It's real. It's Paula, Rick, Melissa, Mr. G, and dozens more who found peace not through partnership, but through presence. And it's you too, if you're ready to listen to that quiet voice inside that's been whispering, I need more than this. But for now, I want to ask, have you ever lost yourself in a long-term relationship? Or did singlehood finally bring you back home to who you are? If so, share your story in the comments. You never know who you might inspire. Beautiful, we've arrived at the final chapter of this story. Let's bring it home with honesty, dignity, and a deep breath of freedom. 7. The peace trap. You don't owe anyone your peace. This one's the hardest to admit. Because many of us were taught that sacrifice equals love. That staying, enduring, biting our tongues, for the sake of history, loyalty, or appearances, is what good people do. But what if I told you, you don't owe anyone your peace? Not your spouse, not your grown children, not the expectations of a culture that tells you you're supposed to. Stick it out. Peace is not a prize you give away. It's a birthright you reclaim. Island 74 said it without hesitation. I knew in my 30s I'd never remarry, and I've never regretted it. I've had offers, even recently, but I'm happily living life on my own terms. Let that sink in, your own terms. That's not loneliness. That's self-possession. That's strength. Too many seniors spend their golden years not living, but enduring. Quietly aching. Silently settling. And calling it normal. But you weren't made to wither. You were made to shine. What we've learned. So let's take a moment to look back at what we've uncovered. You deserve to be more than someone's emotional caretaker. You deserve more than a life ruled by routine. You deserve a future that includes your dreams, not just your duties. You deserve to speak freely, without fear or friction. You deserve a life that feels like yours, not a performance to keep someone else comfortable. And above all, you deserve peace. That peace may come in solitude. In art, in music, in movement, in stillness. In saying no more and meaning it. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is choose yourself. Let's reflect together. So now I want to turn this over to you. Have you walked away from a relationship that no longer served your spirit? Have you chosen freedom over familiarity, even when it scared you? Share your truth in the comments. Whether it's a fresh decision or a choice you made years ago, your story could be the light someone else needs today. Let's normalize this kind of empowerment. Let's build a community where choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's sacred. If this message resonated with you, if it stirred something deep inside, I want you to do 3 simple things. 1. Hit like, not for vanity, but so this content reaches more seniors who need it. 2. Subscribe, because this channel is a home for honest voices, wise hearts, and brave choices. 3. Share your story, in the comments, or with a friend who's quietly wondering if there's more. You're not alone in this. You're part of a movement, one that says, we're not shrinking. We're not settling. We're not apologizing. We are aging boldly, living wisely, and loving ourselves deeply and fully in this beautiful chapter called freedom. A final word. To the one reading this who's been second-guessing, wondering, doubting. Let this be your reminder. You're allowed to outgrow what no longer fits. You're allowed to protect your peace like it's gold. Because it is. You're allowed to walk alone, not because you're empty, but because you are whole. Here's to your calm, your clarity, your radiant, quiet power. Your life is not behind you. Your life is yours right now. So go live it, with courage, with joy, and with no one's permission but your own.